Gone are the gloomy days of the Great London smog, but as cyclists and scientists will tell you, our capital city still has the worst air quality in the UK and is one of the dirtiest in Europe. So when the new low emission zone comes into force, surely it will be seen as a breath of fresh air by the cyclists and the residents of London. We're here in the capital to find out more.
The low emission zone is a scheme that's going to be introduced on the 4th of February. It covers the whole of Greater London, and from Monday any vehicles over 12 tonnes that are non-compliant, don't meet strict European 3 standards for vehicle emissions would have to pay a charge to come into Greater London. It's going to cost £200 every charging day. You know, this scheme's going to operate 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and the charge is set at that level because we want to see people, taking action and either retrofitting their vehicles or changing their vehicle driving patterns.
It's estimated that a staggering 1,000 Londoners die prematurely every year due to poor air quality. We're here to speak to respiratory specialist Dr. Jeremy Brown about the true impacts of air pollution on our health. Jeremy, thanks for coming to speak to us. So is air pollution a problem in the capital?
Yes, I think it is. There's been quite a lot of research over the past few years, and there's a clear association that's been shown now between high levels of pollution and increased mortality, that is death, from diseases which affect the heart and the lungs, such as lung cancer and heart attacks, and respiratory problems.
Do you think the LEZ will have a noticeable effect on pollution levels in the capital and therefore on people's health?
Patients who've got existing chronic lung disease, they get warned about days of heavy pollution, not to go out during those days. And it may be that that will be less frequent if the LEZ works.
So, with heavy fines in order for those who don't comply, it won't just be pollution that's getting up people's noses. So let's go and see what the public think. Have you heard of the new London low emission zone that's coming into force today?
No.
It's about, they're trying to keep out heavy polluting buses and lorries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We could do with all of these trucks out of London.
Kicked out of London.
And on the M4 would be good
Brilliant.
as well.
There's no excuse. All our buses, for instance, all have the latest green engines. So really, all of them should do. There's no excuse anymore.
If it's just the big companies, then I think they can afford it. But if you're going to penalise people who've got bigger cars, I think it's...
Less fair.
Yeah, less fair, definitely.
In London, we monitor air quality by using continuous monitoring sites such as this one. At King's College, we coordinate the London Air Quality Network, which is funded by the local London boroughs and central government and other organisations like Transport for London. Transport for London asked us to look at the effects of any proposed low emission zone. The first stage was to model emission levels and see what kind of effects such a zone might have. We're now at the stage where we're monitoring pollution levels at a certain number of sites around the capital. We'll be looking at the results from that monitoring closely over the next few years.
In a government report published this week, it was shown that those living in London had the lowest well-being of those living in any city in the UK, which, when combined on the global picture on climate change, screams action. So let's hope when the new low emission zone comes into force, it will lead London to a cleaner, greener future, and that copping a face full of fumes on the morning commute will be a thing of the past.